what's up? Welcome to another episode of Fun with Flags. Unfortunately, we kind of had to push it back a day for scheduling reasons, but thankfully, my good friend Soda agreed to do it a couple of days after we normally do it. So, Mr. Soda, the Canadian loony, how do you feel?
I'm doing pretty good, and we're doing it. Oh, we're recording. Sorry. I thought we were doing it live for a second. I was like, wait a second.
I was actually surprised you didn't propose that idea that we do it live.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, whatever. I can upload it afterwards. Just you have to send me the description.
Too late for that now. Okay, I definitely have to do that. But if you watched last week's episode where I introduced my topic for this week, we're going to do a show about arguably the most Jewish thing in the world. Money, I got money, I got. Yeah, so finally doing it. It only took us about more than half the year, but we're finally going to do an episode about money. And to be more specific, just to clarify, not to fall into that stereotype, we're talking about the history of Israeli currency, and more specifically, Jewish currency over the generations. And I did a lot of research for this and actually managed to learn a lot of interesting stuff for myself, believe it or not. So Are you ready to start?
Of course.
So I always like to do this, but before we go on, is there anything you do know about Israeli currency?
Other than one of them is named the shekel? No.
Yeah, figured as much. Now, here's the interesting bit that I discovered, that the concept of Israeli, or rather of currency, reached the region that we now know as Israel around the 6th or 7th century BC. And you know how it arrived here? By way of the wait, I didn't wait for the answer, did I?
No, I have no idea. By llama? That'd be kind of
Llama Lama Ding Dong. But by way of the Hellenistic Empire, or Greeks, as most people are familiar with, because of course the earliest example of actual proper money found in the region we now call Israel arrived by way of the drachma, which was the original Greek currency. You see here portrayed with the Greek god Athena.
And I know that one because of games like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, and she is. Did you play the Greek history Assassin's Creed one?
Yeah, so I've out of the new stuff, like the ones that come in the last couple of years, I played Odyssey and Origins. I haven't really done Valhalla yet.
Oh, okay. So is this the money they use in this in that game?
If I remember, it's been a bit since I played it, but if I'm remembering correctly, I do believe they mentioned drachma at some point.
No, but I'm talking about this coin specifically right here.
Oh, you don't actually see the coins.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
like,
never mind.
Like other games where you see a rounded coin of a color. That's about it.
Okay, so this is an example of one of the drachmas. It's got the Greek goddess Athena on it. On the other side, it's got an owl, which is commonly associated with this Greek goddess. And once this coin reached this region through traders, it sort of became apparent that the people living in the region also needed a coin of their very own, because before that, the way currency was handled in trades and what's the word? Dang it. Not transactions. Business. What?
Sorry, bartering?
I don't know. Let's go with sales at this point. But the way it was commonly used with trading, and I think it might have been transactions. Maybe I'm just getting my words wrong.
Probably.
But yeah, the way business transactions were handled was by cattle and animals. So like you want my horse? Okay, give me 3 cows for it. You want 4 chickens? I'll give you my
Yes, the word you're looking for is bartering.
Okay, sorry. So Shows what I know. So yeah, like sort of you want my good, healthy, young, race worthy horse? Give me a camel for it. You want these crops? Give me some freshly made tomatoes. You want 40 chickens? I'll take your wife. Stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. You want to give my daughter? Give me a herd of cows.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's literally how even the Bible, I think, the Hebrew Bible mentions people giving away their daughters for marriage in exchange for cows and sheep. Like, I'm not even making this up. I made it up for the joke, but that's basically how it was. So, then obviously, then that's when the Greeks came in with the conquerors of Alexander the Great, and this idea of using metallic currency to handle business transactions. That's how it came about, and that's obviously where the word shekel into the phrase. So, at that time, do you know how they measured the value of currency, not just here but all over?
I know it involved a weigh scale and comparing it to something.
Yeah. So, like in layman's terms, the heavier the coin, the more value it was. That's why they mass produced all these coins to a specific weight, made from specific material, and that is how the word shekel happened. It was derived from the Hebrew word for scaling and measuring something's weight, shkila.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So
Shekels that makes sense.
that was news to me, and it makes perfect sense when you really stop and think about it. And the first examples of Jewish coinage came from, apologize if I'm mispronouncing this, Yehud Medinta, and these are the first examples of coins from Jewish areas in the area before they finally refined the format into something more like this.
I love looking at coins from old times.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how much history can be learned just by looking at these things.
Oh, totally.
Now, this is first example. This is another example of a Jewish coin from around that era using what?
It looks like the fleur de lis on it.
It's
the fleur de lis is the thing on the French flag.
Yeah, it does. It does look like that, but it's actually this thing, a lily Madonna. I think that's the name of the specific flower. It's very much associated with biblical terms, and it's even mentioned in the New Testament, as I've discovered. So basically, when the angel Gabriel descended to inform Maria or Mary that she will become pregnant with the Son of God, he was depicted as holding this flower in his hand.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I just learned it from reading about this particular form of coinage.
Pretty
now,
cool.
Go ahead and memorize the look of this coin. Remember that. Keep it in your head for as long as you can. It will come up eventually later in this conversation.
Okay, remember, fleur de lis. I know it's not fleur de lis, but
yeah, whatever makes you remember, whatever helps you remember. So then after that, obviously, there was the period of the Greek occupation in the 2nd century BC, where basically came the rise of the Hasmoneans. And trust me, we will discuss them in another episode because they are specifically tied in to a very famous and noteworthy Jewish holiday, but as a sort of way of rebelling against the Greek and Hellenistic occupation, the Jewish state of the Hasmoneans essentially developed their own coins and their own form of currency as a sort of way of sticking it to the Greeks, just saying like, no, we're an independent country. We're not we're not part of your jurisdiction. We're doing our own thing, and these are some of the coinage that they used, particularly in the era of. And apologize if the pronunciation throws anyone off. Yohanan Hyrcanus. Hyrcanus.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the left, not sure what that is, but on the right, it looks like a torch.
Yeah, pretty much more or less. First of all, the on the left, it's written in ancient Hebrew writing, and it says,
Uh,
yeah, it says Yohanan, a great priest and a friend of the Jews.
oh, cool.
Yeah, and the one on the left is more of a cornucopia type symbol.
Okay, a
So
horn of plenty, which makes sense. Friend of the Jews, he provides.
yeah, and this is a picture of him, just in case you needed some visual help.
It's like a
with
lot
that.
of people from back then. Yes.
Yeah, this is basically how he was depicted. And here's another interesting thing: is that you don't see his face on any of these coinage,
Yeah.
just like in the Greek and Roman coins, because it's a very, very big, major thing in Jewish mythology. Of you are not allowed to have to make pictures of someone and essentially worship that someone in place of God. Like
It's one of the Ten
that's what.
Commandments.
Yeah, it's in the Ten Commandments. You will not have.
Thou
You won't
shalt
make,
not worship a false idol, or something like that.
yeah, something like that. I could just say the Hebrew thing, but but you wouldn't understand it, and it's far too long and annoying anyway. So basically, the idea is you cannot worship a picture or a statue of anyone, because God is all powerful and all around, and God has no defined physical form. Now, the fact that people do that these days and call themselves religious is another thing altogether, and it's a tantrum that I'm not willing to go into right at the moment, because it's.
You American Christians.
I'm talking specifically about the stupid Hasidic Jews, but you know what? Fuck those people. I'm not going to spend any more time talking about them at the moment. So yeah. That's it for Johannan Hyrcanus. And the next bit of coinage was under the reign of Alexander Yanai, or Alexander Janus, as he's more known in English terms. This is how the coinage. No, a different one.
Okay.
No. It's weird that both were named Alexander, but I knew you were gonna you were gonna fall into that trap, so that's why I decided not to.
Totally fair.
Not to go there. But yes, so this is basically the coin used during that time, and as you can see, the on the right side is a sort of 8-sided wheel, and
Oh, okay. I thought it was a sun.
it's both essentially. Like proper documentation from that period of time does not exist, so archaeologists aren't quite sure if it's supposed to be one or the other, but the predominating theory is that it's the Virgin, whatever the name of that sun is that is depicted on the Macedonian flag. Hold on, let me just see. A Virginia sun. Sorry.
Virginia. Okay, cool.
And on the other side, there's what?
Is that a bird?
No, it's a sort of a scale with the writing on it saying Basilius Alexandru, which means Jonathan the King.
Gotcha.
Oh, sorry, no, not Jonathan, Alexander. Sorry, my bad. It's a different.
Could you imagine? Can you imagine an ancient Hebrew king named Jonathan?
No. What's wrong? What the hell? there were plenty of Jonathan kings in the ancient Hebrew times. What are you talking about?
Really?
Jonathan is a Hebrew name. Did you not know that?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know a history of names, unfortunately.
it's derived from the Hebrew name Yonatan, which basically means God-given.
I had no idea. Jeez.
Well,
we invented everything.
Of course we did. Come on. But yes, so this is another image of the same Alexander Janus, and now we come to the reign of Herod, who was the ruling king during the time, well, rather leading up to the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
I think he was the king before the Romans conquered Earth, conquered the region that was later renamed Philistine. But yeah, so these were the types of coins that used to be around during his time. This is another image of them, rather a more realistic image of them. This is basically a animated recreation of them. These are what the coins are, and again, we're seeing that this symbol of the sun with the ancient writing right next to it, and then what?
Sorry, about Herod. I'm just looking up at his rule. It was between 37 and 34 BCE, and ended around 1 BCE.
So yeah, basically around the time of
Around when
Christ.
Christ was born. Yeah.
Yeah,
When he
and
died.
so he wasn't around the time of his birth.
No, he would have been just before.
Yeah, just before the time of his birth, and just like with the other ones, here is the image of Herod as he was depicted back in the days.
Yep.
And then, of course, came the great Roman occupation of the region. We all remember how that turned out.
Mhm.
But then this once again, this forced the ancient Jews to rebel against the Romans. There were 10 in total, 10 rebellions by the Jews against the ancient Roman Empire. And throughout the time, they used a wide variety of different shekels to sort of differentiate themselves from the ancient Greeks. And during that time, a new version of a coin was created. This thing in particular called pruta.
Ooh.
Okay, now you see three. I think they're called Baileys on the right side, and in the,
Oh,
in the,
okay.
on
I
the
would have
left
thought it would
side.
have been like wheat or something.
Yeah, it's very similar. It's from the same family of
Okay.
brands.
Oh,
And
barley?
barley. Yes, barley. That's where my mind was trying to
Okay,
get.
yeah, okay.
So, and on the left is a sort of a canopy traditionally used in Jewish weddings. And
Oh, yeah, I was thinking like it was a parasol or something.
yeah, and that's what I thought as well until I looked into it. So basically, the pruta is an incredibly useless, unimportant coin. It's very very low value, and it's a very very the lowest of the low when it comes to Jewish currency. And yeah, so basically, it's like the lowest. It's got the lowest value of all Jewish coins.
So it's like it's like the equivalent of a penny.
Yeah, pretty much. It might be even lower than a penny, and it's often used in modern day. It no longer exists, by the way, as a proper coin, but it's often used in modern slang and modern phrases like "I don't have a penny," or "Can you spare a penny?" and stuff like that. I don't have a puta, or another popular phrase, "Din puta ke din me'a," which basically means the judgment of a puta is equal to the judgment of 100, essentially meaning that no crime, however small, goes unpunished. In the world.
Your delivery in Hebrew almost sounded like you were trying to do a hip hop song. No, seriously, say it. And
Din puta ke din mea.
yeah, you could easily put that to a beat, like a Bollywood beat or something.
All right, I'm not even going to
Try
to
it.
attempt that. What?
Not right now.
Oh, yeah, sure. But yeah, so, and going back into the shekel realm, we got this thing right here. Where on the right, you see three pomegranates, a very, very important piece of Jewish symbolism, particularly around Rosh Hashanah. And on the left, what?
I've never been a fan.
I like pomegranates.
Yeah, I've done anything on a pomegranate. It's never been.
All right, fine. To each his own. But on the left side, you see a chalice with a beaded rim on it. This is commonly depicted as a half a shekel from around that time, from Judea during during the big Jewish rebellion, the Great Rebellion, the seventh rebellion to be specific, when it comes to numbers, and also it's mostly remembered as the rebellion where the second Jewish temple was destroyed by the Romans.
You guys really love your rebellions.
Yeah, we do definitely love our rebellions, as evidenced by
the Judean People's Front.
Yeah, that was yes.
Yeah, and here is a full-on shekel from around that time, where hold on, what did you say?
I said holy shnikes.
I thought you said holy shekel.
No, well, yeah, no, holy shnikes. It's from one of my favorite movies.
Okay, and the main depiction here is another cornucopia, as well as the Hedra helix plant that it's also very, very much associated with Jewish mythology. Never heard of it?
No.
Okay, fine.
Like,
Now,
what is it?
I'm not a botanist, but it's sort of a, what would you call a plant that sort of spreads out and grows?
Vine.
Yeah, I suppose it could be considered a vine. I suppose I got to look up the you're asking me questions I didn't have answers prepared in advance for.
Well, you seem to know everything about, well, being a Jew, so
but not botany. Give me a break here.
Well, hey, you said it was important to Jewish faith, so I figured.
That doesn't mean I know everything about it. But yeah, so these were around the time of Antigonus Matthias II, as well as coins like this, which once again depict the chalice with the beaded rim, and some more. You'd see a lot of plants in on these Jewish coins. That's why, again, no images of people whatsoever, but we do have plants on the opposite side of the coins. Even still to this day, we still have a lot of our coins have depictions of plants on them. That's why whenever we do heads or tails, the heads part that doesn't have a head, we say etz, which is the Hebrew word for tree. Even though it's
off the head.
Yeah, it's not heads, it's etz. Get it?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is, as I mentioned, was the time of the Great Rebellion, where the second Jewish temple was destroyed, and then of course came the time of one Mr. Simon Bar Kochav.
בר כוכבא לא מת! בר כוכבא חי ויחיה לעד! יחי בר כוכבא! יחי! 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 יחי!
We talked about it in the Lag BaOmer episode, if you remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the Simon Bar Kochav rebellion also came with its own set of Jewish coinage to once again stick it to the Romans and say, we do our own thing, we have our own coins. So basically, in these times, remember, these rebellions lasted for several years. Now, nowadays, the same coins remain the same for decades in our modern times, but back then, these coins were only in circulation for about 6 to 7 years. And I'll tell you something else, actual coins from, and this is something interesting that I learned while researching this, so every single year, there were different coins from from the big rebellion. So up until now, we only had depictions of coins from the second and third year of the Great Rebellion, coins from the fourth year of the Great Rebellion, and coins from the first year of the Great Rebellion were first discovered. Guess when? And if you have the drum roll thing, would you mind uploading it? Unless you deleted it.
Nope, I didn't delete it. It's in another room, but I got it now. I'm uploading it here.
Okay. So guess when, and let me know. Yeah, let me know. You give up guessing when you give it the drum.
Seeing when it was like discovered, so when people found it.
When it was first found, yeah, first discovered. Like they've always known that they had different coins, but
archaeology wise. Okay,
Yeah.
so first century. I'm gonna say sometime in the 30s.
no.
Okay, drum roll.
Go ahead. Last month.
Fuck off, really?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
July 2023 was when coins from the first year of the Great Rebellion were first discovered by archaeologists.
Holy crap.
That's how great archaeology is. No matter how much time passes, you're still discovering new things you didn't know.
Exactly. Oh, that's fucking awesome.
And now, of course, we transition into coins from around the time of the Simon Bar Kochav rebellion, where seen in this right here, you see a layer, which is again very often depicted in the Bible as being one of the favorite playing instruments by King David, with some more torches signifying the flames of the rebellion. Once again, we see some more depictions of plants very sacred to Jews, particularly around Rosh Hashanah, like the hold on, what's the name of the stupid thing?
Looks like a lemon.
It looks like, but it's not. Hold on, let me where is it? I should have written it down ahead of time, but yeah. So this is sort of a citrus type of plant, and we also have the lulav playing a very important part in these coins on the left side of them, and on the right. Can you guess what that is? On the left. Sorry, on the left.
It looks like a vase.
On the left.
Oh, sorry. Well, those are obviously columns.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Greek, is it?
No. They are fighting the Romans, remember, who used Greek archaeology a lot.
So the Colosseum?
No. Does this even look like the Colosseum? The Colosseum was round-ish.
You never know how they would have drawn it back then. Who knows?
But they knew what it looked like.
I don't know. Obviously, it's like oh god, I don't want to not a shrine, but a temple of some sort.
Okay, good. You're in the right direction. Keep
Not
going.
the Ark of the Covenant, is it?
It is the second Jewish temple, which was destroyed in the previous rebellion, as a sort of way of saying, we're going to kick you out. This is revenge for destroying our temple, and we're going to build a new one. And in the center, that is the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, cool! Wow, I got there. Nice.
Yep, I'm very proud of you.
That's the only thing I could think of that was that shape. That wasn't a weird looking door.
Yeah. And here are some more coins with some. I believe that's another face of a Greco-Roman emperor from around that time. Here are
weird that they did it. That's weird that they did a profile.
Yeah, they don't typically do that. The Romans and the Greeks. Here's some more examples of coins from around that time, with a palm tree and some grapes, and the pomegranates again. And so now we come to the period of the Great Exile. Of course, after the 10th rebellion, that was around the time when there were some other rebellions, but the Bar Kochav rebellion, that was around the time that the Romans pretty much got fed up with us Jews running around rebelling all the time. So that was when they finally decided to kick us from our home and rename the place Philistine. And again, remember, they renamed it Philistine, not Palestine. It's a very important distinction people often get wrong in these contexts. But yeah, so in and around that time, the coinage also changed several times depending on who was the ruling class at the time. So in the Middle Ages, or the Dark Ages, as some people like to call them, we have examples of coins from the Fatimi empires, the Byzantine empires, as well as Salahadin's coins, or Saladin, as most people probably know him as. This is basically a depiction of Saladin on a coin, not a Jewish coin, just a coin that was used in the land of Palestine as it was renamed into around that time. And then, of course, obviously, with the uh, sort of the changing of the guard every once in a while, they always had different coins here and there, and that was, of course, when the British came about, and that was more or less around the same time when the Jewish people who sort of started to migrate into the land of Palestine, as it was called at the time, started developing their own types of coins and uh, uh, bills, because this was around the time also where bills started becoming popular in popular usage.
Sorry,
And
what?
what?
What year?
Well, the after the British mandate, do you know where the British mandate started? By the way, no, no,
No, I do not.
1917. So, leading
Oh,
towards the end of the First World War, around the time where the British and the Anzacs uh, banished the Ottomans from the area.
cool.
And now I'm trying to upload all the bills from around that time, which are annoyingly a lot of. So try to bear with me. So yeah, at this point now we're starting to see more examples of bills from that particular era, where at this point the shekel no longer existed for a time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so for a time, the often used form of coinage was the lira. Are you familiar with liras, by the way?
I have. Yes, I've heard of them.
Yeah, so liras are often are often used in Arab and Muslim states. They were also appropriated into the Jewish states at the time, or sorry, the Jewish people living in the land of Palestine at the time, and the liras themselves, or sorry, Palestinian liras, if it will upload, looked like this.
Hmm.
Yeah, so sorry, sorry, my bad, like this.
Oh,
Because again, remember, this is still pre state of Israel at the time. They were still you see it in English, Hebrew, and Arabic, and they were basically known as Palestinian liras, but they were often used by both the Jewish people and the Palestinians. And again, you
one
see
mils and 2 mils. What is that?
that was the coinage. That was the currency at the time.
Oh,
Mills. Sorry, mills essentially are what make up a lira. So 1 lira is made up of 100 mills.
okay. Okay, gotcha.
Uh, these are more modern variants, and and I do have some examples of bills here and there. We get these 50 liras in. You can't probably. Oh no, it's actually written in English as well. The Anglo-Palestinian Bank. So these were the bills often used by the the people living in the land of Palestine at the time. You can see that it's both written in Hebrew, English, and Arabic as
Yeah.
well. And hold on, let me just see if I got more. Yeah, so this is right there on the left side is the Tower of David, which you should know because I sent you a video of it last week.
Yes, you did. That looks
Right.
more like a certificate than a bill.
Well, remember that's more or less how bills used to look like around the world at the time, in
Fair.
the 1800s and the early 1900s, before they started making bills the way we know them to look like. Okay, so and here is what Palestinian, or rather Israeli currency started to look like around the time of the Israel War of Independence, where it's another subject we discussed. Sorry, wrong thing. It's another subject we discussed a couple of episodes ago. And then in 1958, I believe, 1952 to 1980, that is when the Palestinian lira changed into being a Israeli lira, where you know what, it's been several years now. The Israelis now have a country of their very own to call home. They need to change the concept from being a uh, Palestinian currency to being more of a Jewish currency. And these are the first examples of Israeli liras. And you'll see from now on, you'll start to see depictions of people on these bills, which, you know, it was sort of a departure from what the biblical times had in mind, where now they do actually start to feature people on these bills. And the first, rather, this one, which is a depiction of a one Israeli lira, you don't necessarily see notable people just yet, but you will start to see these types of things eventually. And yeah, it's basically just a regular fisherman uh, with some fishing gear and a lake
Pretty cool.
behind him. You also have this depiction of a lira of a basically a scientist with hold on, with beakers and a Bunsen burner and some ancient written text. What else do we have here?
What
It's
year was
a little
those?
hard when these things are so incredibly tiny. What?
I said the Dead Sea Scrolls.
What did you say?
Maybe? The Dead Sea Scrolls, maybe.
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, it is the Dead Sea Scrolls from the from the jog right next to them. That's where these Dead Sea Scrolls were kept uh, when they were first discovered. Now, if you give me a second, trying to find another picture of one of the liras, because again, eventually we will also be covering some liras that have faces of famous people on them. So I want to get into that, but oh no, that's the scientist guy again. Apparently, I must have forgotten to upload it because I don't see it. Oh no, there it is. There it is. It's also another very important piece of Israeli history. The 5 lira at the time, a factory worker standing behind or rather standing in front of a uh, sorry, a factory, and on the bottom side of it, you see the image of a roaring lion, which was found. Which is another coin, ancient coin, found in Tel Megiddo, which also then became another coin later down the road for Israeli currency. Here is a depiction of a 50 Israeli lira with the image of the pioneers who came here to essentially found the country of Israel. And here is a half a lira with a farmer working at the farm, and that is basically and on the bottom is the tomb of the Sanhedrins, which are really important figures for Jewish mythology. You know, if you could just help me by deleting some of the images that we've already shown, I think it'll go a lot faster if we do it together.
Are we starting from the bottom or the top?
Actually, no, don't do anything. I think I just deleted all the ones I wanted to. So let me just try and add in all the liras from the modern age. Well, modern as in they were no longer called liras. So since the 1980s ish, that was when they sort of broke away from just putting random, seemingly unimportant people on these bills and actually started putting named people on the faces of the Israeli lira. So from 19, sorry, no, sorry, my bad. This is still the liras in the 1970s, and this was when they around the time they started changing it into the shekels. But here is a 5 shekel bill. Sorry,
With
five lira bill.
Palestine?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Do you know why?
Other than he's a very famous Jew.
And they did, in fact, asked him, or rather offered him, to be the first president of the new state of Israel.
Right, you mentioned that to me before. Yes.
Which, of course, he declined, but they still put his face on the lira.
Yeah.
And on the other side of the bill, there's the nuclear research facility, or some nuclear research study in Sorek.
Cool.
And let's see what else, what other bills I remember to upload. Again, these are so tiny you can barely see them. Okay, so this is Chaim Weizmann, another one of the famous Israeli presidents, and on a 50 lira bill, and standing, or rather, on the bottom half of the bill, that's the Knesset, essentially the Israeli parliament. In a way, that's where all the great Israeli electives reside. I'm looking for another bill that for some reason I can't find it. There it is. Found it. A 10 lira bill with the image of Chaim Nachman Bialik, a famous, notable Israeli poet from way before the state of Israel was founded.
Wouldn't have pegged him for a poet.
What?
Wouldn't have pegged him for a poet.
Why not?
Just based on this pic, because one, I don't know anything about the guy, obviously, but two, based on this picture, it looked like he would have been a politician or something.
All right, fine. Or maybe just a very honorable person. And that's, of course, his house.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, that's his house depicted on the bottom side of the bill.
Wow.
And here we go. 100 liras with the visionary who worked very hard to make the country, the state of Israel, Benjamin Zev Herzl. Here's another example of this bill, and that is it for the liras for a time. Sorry, there were several different versions of the liras. So I was going to do this orderly, but turns out I went all over the place. But you know what?
Which is why I'm glad you didn't have me to delete anything.
Yeah. So you know what? For the moment, let's just review some of these images, because clearly I lost all sense of direction at this point. We've already seen this, and now we've got this. This is another depiction of Chaim Weizmann as the president of Israel with the Knesset.
A little bit like Ben Kingsley.
You know what else it looks like? Also, you know what? Every time I see him, I think of
who?
Nicholas Briggs.
Really?
Have you ever seen a picture of Nicholas Briggs?
Out of character? No.
So, yeah, if you ever actually look at a modern picture of Nicholas Briggs, he kind of looks exactly like Chaim Weizmann, which is weird.
Yeah, well, I would have thought Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, I suppose Ben Kingsley also works very well. Here is another example of that's already the shekel. And I think, yeah, and this is another picture of Moshe Montefiore, a very famous Jewish contributor who bought a lot of lands in the land of Palestine, lands that will eventually be populated with Jews. And you can see the famous windmill, which he also had commissioned and built in the state of Palestine at the time.
Nice.
And I think at this point, since I've already ruined the order of things anyway, might as well make the big leap into the shekels, or as they're more commonly known today, the new Israeli shekels, also known as the nis. Before that, we also got this old shekel with Zev Jabotinsky, who was another famous leader and poet and politician. He did a lot of different things, and we have, where is it? A 500 shekels with the Baron Rothschild on it, and some more grapes as well. Now we come to a different, a modern point in Israeli history, where we have a brand new form of currency created.
Oh, cool.
The agora.
Wow.
Do you know what the agora is? And no looking things up, because I can hear your mouse clicking.
Oh, no. Don't worry. I was looking at Canadian currency for a second.
Oh, you're making comparisons?
No, I'm actually getting ideas for something. No, I've never heard of that. It just, to me, looks like a grain of some sort.
Basically, agoras is what a shekel is made of. Because, inflation being what it is, currency always becoming less and less valuable over the years, essentially a single shekel is made up of 100 agoras. And seeing on this picture right here, you have I'm uploading more pictures, by the way, so it's a one, right? It's one agora with, once again, the barleys as well. And I also uploaded a number of pictures of other agoras as well.
It resembles a bottle cap. That's what it does.
It's that one, yes, but it sort of became a much more rounded version as well. We got some more pomegranates on the 5 agoras here as well, and some palm trees on 10 agoras. Here's the Megiddo line again on a coin of 5 liras. Here's the pruta again that I mentioned earlier with the layered. What?
Is that a harp?
It's a layered, but it's often called King David's layered. So you weren't far off.
Yeah.
Here's a 10 agoras with more pomegranates. 50 agoras with a Byzantine coin on the other side. And here is actually a 250 prutas with some more wheat, and even 500 prutas. So the prutas also made a comeback during the 50s as well, before obviously they were replaced by the agoras. And I think now, if you could help me by just deleting all the pictures, and I can upload the new batch while we're doing that. So
Shnikes, there's more.
Yeah, so
everything under the Fun with Flags thumbnail?
Yeah. Just delete everything, and I'll upload the modern look of the agoras as they are commonly depicted in modern Israeli coinage today. Most of these, even though they are relatively new, and by relative I mean since the 1980s, they are all some of these are no longer in usage.
I can delete this one, right?
Hold on, let me see. Yes, definitely.
Okay, cool. Now I see where you're adding them. Okay, cool.
Okay, so this right here is how a modern one. Sorry, you keep. I'm not keeping up with your deleting of them. So this is a modern look at the agora that was added into the modern way of that the shekel has been used. Uh,
Ship?
yeah, it's a ship from that was taken from the Herod coins originally.
Oh.
You're still eating things, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is what a modern new agora used to look like, and I say used to because it's no longer in circulation. Okay, I
Oh.
believe I might have one in my piggy bank at the other room, but I don't really feel like going through any of those coins right now, just for the sake of showing
All right. I'm
what it
done.
looks like. Okay, cool, cool. Thank you. And the one stage after that is a 5 agora, which also once again has the Byzantine coin on the back of it. And here's another thing that I forgot to mention is you'll notice that there's this sort of symbol of the menorah, right, on the left.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've seen them on. Yeah. They've been on a few of the coins.
Yeah, so these are officially, first of all, they are the seal of the state of Israel, the official seal, shield, symbol, whichever way you want to call it. These are a standard issue on all Israeli coins since the 1950s, since the old lira all the way into the shekel and to the new shekel, which we will get to in just a minute after we're done talking about the 10 agora, which depicted in the middle section there, that is an old coin from that currently is undated. Some people believe it was from around the time of the Simon Bar Kochav rebellion. Some people believe that it could have been from before that. But that is basically the first example of a ancient Jewish coin or ancient shekel found in ancient times with the menorah on it, and they basically took that coin and printed it on the 10 agoras, and that is kind of the standard of how agoras look like. Now, I am old enough to remember when these were still in use. Actually am certain I have several of them in my piggy bank that are completely worthless now because they're no longer in use. But the 10 agora still remains to this day as like uh, you need 10 of these to have a full-on shekel. So yeah,
Oh. Okay.
this coin is still being used today. And moving into the shekel, before that we have a half a shekel with, once again, the layered, which is often associated with King David. Now, the way you differentiate these shekels from the shekels prior to the mid 1980s is these are often called a new shekel or nis, as uh, in a as an acronym. Nis essentially meaning new Israeli shekel. This is what the currency is, and this is the symbol of the nis, the new Israeli shekel.
Oh.
Yeah, it's basically, if you remember your Hebrew studies class from a couple of episodes ago, this is the letter Shin and the letter Chet meshed into each other.
Yeah. Okay. I see that.
So, uh, hold on.
Looks like
You,
a
you do
funky N.
what?
Looks like a funky N.
Yeah, I suppose they do. And hold on. Let me just add a couple more pictures of more coins. Sorry, of the bills, because we also have the coins. This is how a new Israeli shekel looks like. Uh, does that symbol look familiar to you?
Yeah, it's that flower we talked about earlier.
Yeah, I did tell you to memorize it and keep it in your head.
Figured.
Yeah, this is the old version, the ancient coin, and this is how the new shekel looks like. depicting that flower. And on the side, in ancient Hebrew writing, we have the word Yahad, or Jude, essentially.
Right
And
on.
this is how the shekel looks like. Now, let me know if you have something like this.
The fudge is that?
This is a 2 shekel coin, or is it often nicknamed a schnickel?
So a schneckle. We have the loonie. Okay. So you're asking if I have an equivalent to this over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did any other country in the world except Israel even bother to make a coin of 2?
Yeah, we did the toonie.
Really?
Yeah, I can't remember how long ago it was, but they stopped making $2 bills and they made something called a toonie,
All
a
right.
$2 coin.
So we're not the only crazies
No.
who uses a
So-
coin of just 2.
So spoilers, just before you continue, I actually don't have time to research the topic. I teased last time just because I've been busy this week. I'm going to put that off for 2 weeks from now. I'm going to do Canadian currency because you've actually got me curious and I want to learn the history of mine and teach you as well.
Cool.
Because
So
we
once
go
again-
all the way back to like the 1400s.
So once again, you're copying me. All right.
I'm sorry, I don't have the time to do the proper research to give my other topic, respect.
Well,
Right now.
you know what? I much prefer you do the research for your topic than just to do a hash job like I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And this is a 5 shekel with a proto-Iolic column at the center center
And
side.
here
of it.
is where the bills start.
Not quite yet because
No, I mean over here.
Oh, okay.
Over here.
Here-
'Cause
over
this
here,
sounds
not-
like, this sounds like a shekel is close to what we call a dollar.
A Canadian dollar.
Canadian dollar. So yeah, so based on that, this is where we only have the $1 coin with 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cent, $1, $2 coins, and then after that it's all bills.
Oh, okay. I didn't know dollars were in coin form. We, as I mentioned, we only have the agoras in the tens because all the previous ones are no longer in circulation. And then in shekels we have the 1, the 2, 5, and 10 shekels, which also have this depiction of a palm tree behind it.
A toonie looks like kind of like that.
Really?
Like in design, like where it's like the center is gold and the outside is
Silver.
yeah, exactly.
All right. And now that we're going into the bills area, we're going backwards in time a little bit more to the older shekel designs with the actually no, these are new shekels. I didn't know that. Okay, so for the bill, as far as the bills go, this is a 5. Let me just see because I'm pretty sure there's also a 1, but hold on. 1 shekel, 1 shekel, 1 shekel, 1 shekel. There it is. The 1 shekel, which has a depiction of the Rambam on it. Essentially, the Rambam is acronym for Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon. This is the Rambam, and
Nice.
and the depiction at the bottom there is of a ancient stone lantern.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yep. And on the 5 shekel, which I already spoiled originally, we have Levi Eshkol, which was prime minister in the late 60s in Israel. And on the bottom, we have a water tube representing the, hold on, let me just translate it, the national water carrier of Israel, which was his idea. Basically, around that time, it was very, very difficult to distribute water to the southern area of Israel. So Levi Eshkol proposed the idea of having the national water carrier essentially taking water from the Sea of Galilee, which was at the very, very north area of the country, and distributing it towards the more southern side of the country.
Not gonna lie,
All right.
I first thought that was a rocket until I looked up and saw the rest of the river.
Oh. All right. I
Just
guess
because
I can.
it through the water. Kind of for a second there, I thought it was a flame.
All right. I can see that when I'm looking at it. But now I am. Did I forget to bring up this bill? Apparently I did. Okay, so never mind. We have next. We have the 10 shekel coin, which we have depicted on it Golda Meir, which was Prime Minister of Israel during the 70s. So far, still the only female Prime Minister in Israel.
Oh, shit.
And she
must be.
even. What?
Or no, never mind. We only have had one prime minister too. Never mind.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So
I will say I like the symbol next to her because I noticed it right away where it made the freaking Star of David. That's pretty cool.
yeah, and on the bottom, it's a picture of her going into the Jewish synagogue in Moscow during the time when she still was the Israeli ambassador to Russia at
What
the USSR at the time. Sorry.
what years
What?
was she prime minister?
Hold on. Let me give you an exact an exact year. She was. Where is it? Well, why is Wikipedia so complicated? Yeah, damn it. Where is it? You had to ask, didn't you?
I'm sorry. I want
it's,
to learn.
It's fine. Hold on. Man, it doesn't say. I'm sorry. It doesn't say.
Okay.
I'll save it for another episode because this is definitely a topic we will be covering eventually.
Okay.
And again, because currency being what it is and inflation being what it is, eventually these bills that I just showed you became like this. So it went from being a 1 shekel to being 1,000 shekels. It went from being 5 shekels to being 5,000, and from 10 all the way to 1,000 before they realized that they needed to produce new shekels to keep up with the growing currency at the time. And now we're transitioning into the new shekels. So these are the way the shekels looked like, or rather the new shekels, the nis, as they're affectionately called. This is how they look like nowadays. Hold on. Oops. Sorry. I uploaded the wrong thing again. This is what they look like around the time of me existing, essentially. These are bills that I've used, and I think I'm done stalling time. So this is what a modern new shekel bill looks like.
Wow.
What?
Sorry, it's just I'm struck by a little bit of this. There's a little similarity to our bills now.
Yeah, maybe this is some good fodder for you to learn the for your thing. Yeah, so it's got this is the $20. This is the 20 shekel bill with a depiction of Moshe Sheret, the second prime minister of Israel, and on the back, which for some reason it's the only bill that doesn't have both sides on Wikipedia, but it's got obviously a sentry post, and a couple of Jewish volunteers in the Second World War during that, and all written on it is the great flag speech that Moshe Sheret has delivered twice, and the second time was when the country of Israel was founded. On the 50 shekel bill is a famous, notable writer and author, Shai Agnon, who is basically an acronym for Shmuel Yosef Agnon. and his iconic glasses and pen and notebook on the other side of it, on the back, I should say. On the 100 shekel bills is Yitzhak Ben Tzvi. He was the second president of Israel because, yes, we have a president and a prime minister because we're weird like that.
Yes, you are.
And on the back side of the bill is the old, is a depiction of an old Jewish synagogue in the Druze village of Peking, which I have actually been to and visited.
Oh, cool.
Now, on the on the 200 new shekel bill is a depiction of Zalman Shazar, who was the third president of the state of Israel, and on the back is a street in the Israeli city of Tzfat. Now, this is where things could potentially become a bit controversial because at one point, there was planned to be a 500 new shekel bill, which looked like this, and it features a picture of another notable prime minister of Israel, Yitzhak Rabin. Have you heard of this name, Soda?
Yeah, I'm sure you've mentioned him in the past, but I'm sorry.
Yeah, so basically, he's still so far the only prime minister of Israel that was assassinated. Yeah, it's a very, very famous story. We might actually even cover it at some point. But yeah, this was planned to be a 500 shekel bill, but through a lot of pressure from the right wing extremists, this bill was never produced. Hold on, let me just see. It was and on the writing section on the bill was a slight snippet from the speech that he carried out slightly before his assassination in 1995. Okay, so besides this bill, all the other bills that I just showed, the $20 bill, the 20 shekel bill, 50 shekel bill, 100 shekel bill, and the 200 shekel bills, I've actually used as a teenager, but they are no longer in circulation. Okay, they no longer exist. It was at some point that I guess someone must have decided to move away from political leaders depicted on the bills and try to focus more on cultural contributors to the land of Israel, to the state of Israel, to be depicted on these bills. Starting off with the 20 shekel bill depicting Rachel, or let's just call her Rachel because it's easier for you to pronounce. The Rachel, a very famous poet from before the time of the state of Israel was founded, and a slight depiction of one of her songs, the Kinneret, which is known as the Hebrew word name for the Sea of Galilee. And on the 50 shekel bill, we have Mr. Shaul Chernichovsky, another famous poet, author, and doctor as well. And on the 100 shekel bill, Leah Goldberg, with another famous, notable poet from Israeli history. And on the 200 shekel bill,
is that deer on the bottom?
Yeah, deers. Well, technically they're does because they're the females.
Yeah. Thank you, Sound of Music.
On the not on the 200, we have Natan Alterman, another famous Israeli poet and journalist as well, and a playwright as well. And these are what the currency in Israel looked like these days. Today, these are the currencies that I personally use when buying stuff, unless of course I'm using credit. But
we stop at 100. We don't go any higher than that on our bills.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. So that's it. That's all she wrote.
Yeah. No, they definitely got me curious about my currency. So I figured it's not as much prep as what would be my other topic. So yeah, I decided I'll do that because our bills, especially like in the last 25, 30 years, they've been depictions of famous things or cultural things like yours are. So yeah, I figured it'd be pretty cool to share.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I said, the bills, they like our current bills, both ours look kind of similar. So I think ours might be a little smaller.
Well, I don't know what the actual size in figures of these bills are.
Me neither, but I have a feeling they might be a little bit bigger than ours.
All right. Hold on. If you'll just let me, I could. I could bring up one of my bills. I'm just looking for a picture. Hold on, because I want to show this because you probably wouldn't believe me otherwise. Just give me a second. So remember, I talked about this picture right here of Chaim Weizmann, the president.
Yep, Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley, or as I like to call him, what?
Sir Ben Kingsley.
Sir Ben Kingsley, or as I like to call him, Nicholas Briggs, the voice of the Daleks from Doctor Who.
Oh, okay. Now I see it.
Now tell me they don't look alike.
Now I see it.
Like it's frightening how much he looks like him.
Now I see it. Okay.
Okay, now if you just give me a moment, you can introduce your topic. Oh, well, you already mentioned your topic.
I already did.
I'm all over the place. But let me just see if I can find. Let's see if I have any money at all for starters. Let me see if I have. Okay, so this is the 50 shekel bill with Chernyakhovsky. This is basically the size.
Okay. Okay. No, it looks to be about the same size then.
Here is my hand for scale.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's about the same size.
Okay. So bigger, smaller.
No, it's similar size. But ours, it's our $20 bill that's green.
All right, and this is basically all I have to share for my topic. So, any final thoughts on any of these pictures that I showed you today?
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see, ancient depiction or ancient coins. And also to see just how similar, like I said, some of ours are.
Maybe it's just a universal thing.
Maybe. Especially your 10 shekel and our toonie.
And I didn't even know you had a toonie.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad we got to talk about the
and we also, I will to talk about it during mine. There is a very famous hockey story about a loonie. Very famous over here.
Now something I forgot about. The coins of the shekels, like 10 shekels and 5 shekels, there were special editions with faces printed on them, but they're incredibly rare. And
we also have like commemorative coins printed and stuff like that. Same currency and stuff like that, but they'll have like a different picture or whatever.
All right. So finding one is definitely a rarity, but they do exist, is what I wanted to bring up. And I'm just glad that I got to talk about coins from the time of the Simon Bar Kochav rebellion. Do you know why?
Because he's a hero of yours?
Well...
בר כוכבא לא מת! בר כוכבא חי ויחיה לעד! יחי בר כוכבא! יחי! 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 יחי!
Because it gave me an excuse to play that clip. That's why.
He would have been proud of you.
Yeah, I know.
You got me on that
one. So I think right now there's only enough time left to say...
Hello, I like money.
Right, so... plugs?
Same as usual, soda_the_Saxman, Instagram and Twitter. All, on the Northern Entertainment Group doing shit with 50 here and over on the So Dagan Wrestling channel.
Cool. And you can find me every Thursday on this show, Final Flags, and every Monday on my other show on this channel, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And you can also find me on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades of Geek, where I do weekly reviews of every single Doctor Who episode from 1963 all the way to 2022. And I also uploaded a review of Meg 2, The Trench. Go ahead and check that one out. And you can also check out all these wonderful channels like the aforementioned So Dagon Wrestling and my channel, including this one, as well as Something to Talk About, Galaxy Geeks, Multiverse of Geekdom, Movie Lovers Unite, The Midnight Cinema, A-Town Reviews, and In the Front Row. And I also did some things with Frenchie over on another channel that he's a part of, but I forgot the name of it, and I forgot to ask him for it. So just next time I'll probably have the name already written down so I can plug it. But that's it. That's all she wrote. And next week we'll be doing some more talking about monies, or as we like to say,
Money, money, I got money, 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 I got
money. So thank you all for watching if you have, and I will see you all. Sorry, we will see you all on the next one. And then just always remember, let your geek flag fly. That's all we're really here for. This was done for our good friend Ben. So goodbye, everyone.